my president, my president, my president. Letlapa yo, my president. Letlapa yo, my president, my president, my president, my president, my president. Letlapa yo, my president. Letlapa yo, my president, my president, my president, my president, my president. Letlapa yo, my president. Letlapa yo, my president, my president, my president, my president, my president. Letlapa yo, my president. Letlapa yo, my president. My president, my president, my president, my president. Letlapa yo, my president. Letlapa yo, my president. My president, my president, my president, my president. Letlapa yo, my president. Letlapa yo, my president. My president, my president, my president, my command. Letlapa yo, my command. Letlapa yo, my command. My command, my command, my command, my command. Letlapa yo, comrades, as you know that PAC is about to build its own headquarters on the soil that it belongs to it, the PAC. So we'll be collecting money from you because we know that no one is going to fund us but ourselves. Secondly, there are debit orders here, I think they are at that table. Anyone who wants to contribute monthly to the PAC account may fill that debit order form. And I know half of you is going to fill it. Thirdly, the PAC has a funeral plan. And there are forms over there at the table. One of the days when one of us is late, we have to go around looking for sponsors. So we must sponsor our own funeral while we are still alive. Honorable guests, performing artists, the way to use fire, members of the media, comrades, afternoon. I greet you all in the name of our land, Africa. We are assembled here today to pay homage to the memory of the gallant youth who wrote our history with their blood, toil, and tears. 20 meters ago, Soweto ignited into a prairie fire that quickly spread to the whole country. On that fateful day, the youth of our land, mostly in their teens, were initiated into martyrdom and heroism. The echoes of Letlapa on fire woke up the international community to the reality of the minority rule and white supremacy. And the march to freedom was unstoppable. Unfortunately, the nation has not sufficiently recognized the role played by the giants of June 16, among others, P.S. Mashinini, Hoto Teatolo, Wafomo Sono, Sibongile Kabela, Mtabisen Chabalala, Amanda Mabizela, Majaka Tata Mukwena, Temba Tajwayo, Tembele Kala. The list is endless. We call upon the ruling party to tower above petty partisan politics and accord the heroes of June 16 their rightful place in history. The names of Soweto Student Representative Council Executive Committee members should be on the list of every learner in this country. Their photos and profiles should decorate every classroom in Azania. The names of those who fell, beginning with Hector Peterson, should be memorialized and immortalized in epitaph. We owe it to their eternal memory. To immortalize P.S. Mashinini's name, Morris Isaacson School must be named after him. As a befitting tribute to the heroes and heroines of June 16, we have to establish the school of a new type. 21 years after June 16 and 13 years into the new dispensation, we are still the victims of neo-colonial miseducation. Before we can challenge this miseducation, we first have to be aware of it. Like spear and shield, education is a weapon. If we thoroughly understand that, we must know that the exploiter will never arm the exploited. The oppressor will always disarm the oppressed physically and mentally, especially mentally. The miseducation we receive disarms us mentally. We remain pacified in the face of imperialist onslaught. We know there is no free lunch, but African heads of state continue to kneel before Western governments, caps in hand, soliciting aid. In fact, soliciting domination. Like weapon, education could be used to liberate society. But neo-colonial miseducation we inherited will always perpetuate exploitation of human by human and continent by continent. Hamadou Kane, speaking of the colonial school, had this to say, quote, "Better than the cannon, it makes conquest permanent. The cannon compels the body, the school bewitches the soul," unquote. Du Bois asked, double consciousness always looking at the world through the eyes of others, unquote. As mental slaves, we see the world through the eyes of our master. That is the essence of neo-colonial miseducation. Palestine is north of us, not east of us. But because it is east of our master, we say Palestine is in the Middle East. If we want to put Palestine in the middle, why don't we say it is in the Middle North? Both Middle East and Middle North are wrong locations. Palestine is in West Asia. Where is Japan? Is it in the Far East? Far from whom? Obviously far from our master who acts in Europe. Far is a relative term. Far is a relative term, and naturally, Japan is not far from the Japanese. It is in East Asia. We know the world is not flat. It is like a globe. However, whenever the earth is drawn on a piece of paper, Europe is always on top of Africa. In spite of the fact that Europe is a baby continent and all the humanity traces its origin in Africa. Africa, therefore, must be at the top of the world map. The education that we envisage must promote African studies, foster African consciousness, encourage self-awareness, self-mastery, and self-reliance. It must promote African culture, including African languages. We need education that will enable its learners to turn lemon into lemonade. We must move beyond dispensing drugs and start manufacturing them using African-rich herbal diversity, thus liberating Africa from multinational pharmaceutical scavengers. Education that will produce credible and patriotic scientists and technologies who will support African economy and agricultural recovery. To those who distort liberation history, we wish to send a firm message that the impeccable role played by the PhD is a reality that cannot and will never be wished away. Zephaniah Mutupeng, John Ganya, and other Bethel tribes will feature prominently when the history of Azania is rewritten. Lest we forget, June 16 was principally about three things, namely language, education, and the youth. Our reflection, 30 years later, must focus on changes or absence thereof of these three areas. The youth of 1976 rejected the imposition of Afrikaans as a medium of instruction across all subjects. 31 years on, we still have a language with imperialist roots, English, as a medium of instruction across all subjects. The dominance of English happens at the expense of our indigenous languages. No wonder we still cannot match countries like Japan and Germany, who use their languages to teach, among others, critical subjects like science and mathematics. If we are to be competent educationally, we should stop paying lip service to the mammoth but surmountable challenge of developing our own indigenous languages to a point where they can be used as media to teach any subject. Despite playing a major role in ushering political freedom, the youth continues to be at the receiving end of the wealth this country offers, and these include HIV/AIDS, violent crime, drug abuse, unemployment, and landlessness, and by implication, homelessness. We are commemorating June 16 against a gloomy situation obtaining in occupied Palestine. Indeed, it is sad to see the oppressed at each other's throat. When two slaves fight, there is no victor. The internecine in Palestine will only serve to prolong Zionist Israeli occupation, and it must come to an end. We call upon the warring parties to cease fire and focus their energies on struggle for the liberation of Palestine. We reiterate our unflinching support to the public workers' demands for salary increase and other benefits. Therefore, we see the government's court to speedily meet the workers' demands and return normality to schooling and health services. In the same breath, we condemn intimidation. We support workers who depend on essential services and continue to mend their posts. I thank you for listening to me.